Please. Today's short yet exciting discussion is making equal fractions by multiplying by 1. Making, trouble. Making, what's going on here? Making equal, let's try it again. Making equal fractions by multiplying by 1. It's based on this thought, children. Anytime you multiply something by 1, let's just say 8 times 1 is what? 8. 6 times 1 is 6. 327 times 1 is going to be 327. Well, that is the same thing when it comes to fractions. If I have 1/2 and I multiply it by 1, I get 1/2. Okay? But we're going to change that up a little bit in the sense that we know that the number 1, if I were writing the number 1 using fractions, there are a countless number of fractions that mean the same thing as 1, right? Like if you have 1/1, you have 1 pizza, that gives you 1 piece, or if you have 2/2 of a pizza, you have the whole thing, or if you have 3/3 of a pizza, you have the whole thing, or if you have 10/10, those are all fractions equal to 1, correct? So if I take what I started with over here and I have 1/2, and instead of multiplying it by the number 1, I multiply it by any fraction that equals 1, let's say I pick this one, 1/2 times 3/3, because 3/3 is the same exact thing as the number 1, the answer I get is going to be the same as 1/2. But I actually end up with different numbers, because when you multiply fractions, you multiply across. 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. So I know that 3/6 is the same thing as 1/2, because all I really did was multiply it by 1. It's a little confusing, but the gist of it is this. You don't really have to understand this. If you understand that, you, write this down, you can multiply both the top and bottom of a fraction by the same number, and it does not change. Well, let's just change this. Let's scratch that. And it makes an equal fraction. It makes an equal fraction. We'll do some more of it. As long as you multiply the top and the bottom of a fraction by the same number, you are going to get an equal fraction. So let's say I have 3/8. Okay. If I multiply the 3 by 5 and the 8 by 5 as well, I get 15/40. That fraction means the same thing as 3/8. If you took a pizza and cut it into 40 pieces and ate 15 of them, it would be the exact same thing as taking a pizza, cutting it into 8 pieces and eating 3 of them. Okay, as long as you multiply the top and the bottom by the same number, okay, you're going to get an equal fraction. Now, how does that matter to you? Well, for tomorrow, they're going to give you something that looks like this. They're going to say, let me move some of this stuff here so I get a little bit more room. Take this and move it up here. I'm going to take this, I'm going to take this, and move it up here. Okay, they're gonna give you something that looks like this. They will say 3/8 equals what number? They'll leave this blank, over 16. Okay, you want to write an equal fraction, so you got to think about what same number are you going to multiply the top bottom to get that same number. So you just think this, okay, well, what do I multiply 8 by to get 16? 2. So as long as I multiply the 3 by that same exact number, I'm going to get an equal fraction because all I've done was multiply by 1. 3 times 2 is 6. Or even they could do it on the bottom. If you have 1/5 equals what? No, I'm sorry. Equals 7 over what number? You do the same thing. And again, when you see this in the book, you need to write this all out. Don't just give me numbers there. Give me the fractions. What times 1 gives you 7? 7. So you'd have to multiply the 5 by 7 to get the right bottom number, which is
35.
35. If you make 1 out of 5 free throws, that's the same as making 7 out of 35 free throws. They mean the same thing. They represent the same amount or portion, if you will. Let's see another one here. How about this? 2/3 equals how many 15ths? 2/3 equals how many 15ths? You know, obviously you want to make the teacher happy, so you would do this, okay? To go from 3 to 15, I multiply by 5. So 2 times 5 means on top is going to be 10. Everybody think that's not going to be so bad? Another example, they will do this. Write this problem down here. The book says, write a fraction equal to 2/3. Write a fraction equal to 2/3, equal to 2/3, that has a denominator of 12. That has a denominator of 12. Now, a lot of words there that end up being the same thing we just did. I want to make a fraction equal to 2/3, so I'm starting with 2/3. I want to make an equal fraction to it, and what do I know about that equal fraction? 12 has to be where? Top or bottom? Bottom, because that's the denominator. So it's just the same thing as the problem we just did. You go, okay, 3 times what is 12? 4. You multiply the 2 times 4, and you will get 8/12. 8/12 and 2/3 are exactly the same. And they will also do this. You'll see this in the book. I'm looking at a problem that has this. 3/4 times equals 6/8. And they'll have a different color with the number 1 sitting here like this. And they'll ask what fraction. They'll have question mark here over question mark here. In order to go from 3/4 to 6/8, what fraction that equals 1 did I have to multiply by?
2.
Yeah, 2/2. And that would be the answer. Oops, sorry, 2/2. And that would be the answer.